message. Today's DIY is how to recover a dining room chair. I'm going to show you how to take the fabric off and recover it so it looks nice and tight and looks professionally done. So this chair has a few different layers of fabric on it. Somebody just covered right over the top of it with this lovely striped fabric. So I'm going to remove the outer layer first. I'm using needle-nosed pliers. They grip the fabric really well and you're able to like rip it out, and if there's a stubborn staple you can usually slide it under and pull it out. I'm just going to remove this fabric and see what's underneath. Sometimes you can just pull it out and it comes right out. Depends on what kind of staples they use. Sometimes they're harder to get out than others. So that's what somebody added. Then we've got this lovely floral stained fabric underneath. Take my scissors and I'm going to make an X on the top. You could do it however you want, but I feel like this is the easiest way. And then you're going to go, this has piping, so I'm going to snip through the piping. And I'm going to do that on all the corners. Now that we've got all of the old fabric removed, we're going to add a new fabric. For this project, I'm using a gray and cream striped duck cloth that I purchased at my local fabric store. You could put the fabric horizontal or vertical. I like the stripes horizontal because then I can fit 2 seats in one length of fabric and then I'm not wasting it. So I made sure that this is the right amount of fabric. I'm going to flip it over and then I'm going to put my seat on here. Once I have this on here, the first thing I'm going to do is what I call a dry fit. This is just enough fabric to do this, so I just want to make sure that it goes over the lip on both sides. So now that I know that it will do that, I'll go ahead and get started. I always like to start in the middle of the back of the seat. I don't know that it makes a difference, but that's where I start. And I want to make sure that my stripes are straight because you don't want crooked stripes. I'm going to use my air compressed nail gun. It's set at 45 psi. Depending on how hard your wood is, you may have to adjust it. So you'll want to do a test staple first. I've done these chairs before, so I know this will work. You could also use a standard nail gun. I prefer this because I have arthritis and it just makes it a lot easier for me. I'm going to put my first staple in. And I'm going to come around the side, and as I come around the side I'm going to pull the fabric up. This kind of curves, so it'll curve along with the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to come to the edge and stop. I'm going to flip this around and do the other side, and I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to pull the fabric taut and come around. I'm going to come almost to the edge and stop. Now that I'm done, I'm going to come back through and add staples to make sure it's secure. The reason that I come back and add staples is because sometimes you mess up, and if you add a lot of staples it makes it more difficult to remove your fabric. So since I know that this is straight on this side, I'm going to go ahead and add some more. The next step is going to be to make a pleat at the corner. Make one pleat, I'm going to bring it around and make a second pleat. I'm going to do the same thing on the other corner. I'm going to add a pleat and add a second pleat. Then I'm going to start in my middle and put a staple in each stripe. When I get to the corner, so I'm going to make my final pleat and make sure that there's no wrinkles. And come across this way here. And then pull tight. That way you've got a nice corner there. You could also sew the piece to fit if you wanted to, but we all know that I don't sew. So this way you've got a nice tight corner with minimal puckering, and it looks professionally done. So I'm gonna do the same thing on all the other corners. I had a little bit of puckering here at the front. Seats that are curved like this are always a hard thing for me. I can never get them perfect. So don't be afraid to pull a little extra and add a few extra staples. I added a few on this side and I added a few on this side. And the final result is a nice smooth front that doesn't have puckers, which is one of my biggest pet peeves. You've got a little bit of pleating on each side here, but it looks pretty good. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut off the extra fabric. You could also, if you wanted it to look nice and neat and you were concerned about that, this fabric under here is called Oli cloth. You can get it at your fabric store. You can cut out a piece the size of your chair and staple it on, and then underneath it would be nice and pretty. I personally don't care because I don't look underneath my chairs. So I just want it to look good enough. Because this is the side you'll see. Stripes are kind of hard, so it may take you a while to get them right, but the most important thing is that they're nice and straight and the fabric is nice and tight. You don't want to have any wrinkles. You'll notice when I did the stapling that I did back, then front, then side to side, and I started in the middle every time. That's really important to keep even tension on your fabric. If you've ever seen a seat and it has puckers, ripples, extra ripples along the side, it's because the tension wasn't kept even. So if you do back to front, side to side, and always start in the middle on your staples, you'll have nice, even fabric. So Zeb challenged me to, hey, you're starting early. Zeb challenged me to a staple off to see who's faster. He's old school, he likes to use his handheld staple gun. I'm gonna use my air compressed staple gun, but you better do it right.
It'll be right, it's gonna look good.
No puckers.
I can't guarantee that.
I'll make you rip it off.
Probably.
Okay, ready? Hold on. Is it straight?
Straight.
Ready, set, go.
Pulling it. I feel like I'm already getting puckers.
I feel like if you win and you have puckers, really you're losing. Just make sure there's none in the front.
I'm not going to look at it till I'm done. Hey, you missed some staples over there. I can't get my puckers right on the front, my pleat.
Done! I won! I'm the winner. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more DIY. Those aren't even straight.
They're totally straight.
Bye guys.